Welcome back, guys, and thank you for returning. So, the thumbnail doesn't lie, and we're going to get to installing this track-oriented performance part here. I lost count of the episodes. I've been pushing content out and grinding on this car. So, with that being said, take a seat, chill back, and enjoy this next episode. I'm going to get back to cleaning this, and I'll see you in a few. So this is A.S.A.P Garage with your boy Dro. So today we're gonna get to tuning suspension on this car. I am super excited about that because it is one of my favorite parts of the car. And I'll tell you why in just a little bit. But first, I want to do a recap. We did the brake bleed in the previous episode and upgraded the brakes on this car. Everything looks super flawless like I'm showing you here. And I'm totally stoked to add more to that wheel well so it looks dope. Now, back to tuning of suspension. When you come up to me to have a car conversation, I am super all ears to that conversation. We could last hours talking about the conversation. But there's different grades to the conversation on how I judge your method or what you're talking about. For example, if you come up to me and talking about power, horsepower, this car has that horsepower, that car has this horsepower, and we're just talking about engine, to me, that's like a novice conversation. And we all started there. That's good. We all started talking about power and everything. But that to me is a novice conversation. When you talk to me about tuning suspension and brakes, that's when you're on the next level of conversation with me. The reason why I say that is because you could have the slowest car on the track, but if you have good tuning of your suspension and good brakes, you could basically keep up with lap times with the fastest car when it comes to power on that track. Reason why is because tuning and braking is very important when it comes to corners. Depending on the track, you could have the slowest car when it comes to power, probably go one-on-one with the fastest car when it comes to power in that track. When you talk about suspension and brakes, you're on that amateur, almost pro level. And when you talk about tires and degradation and type of compound, then you're on a pro level. Keeping that in the right temperature, all that, then you're on a pro level. And I'm learning from you because that's what I want to learn next. Tires. Tires are very, very important when it comes to grip on a track or driving on the back roads. Back to this episode. What I have in front of me here are the D2 RS Coilovers. These are one of the best coilover for the 8th Gen Civic. If you go to Ep.10.com, everybody praises these D2 coilovers. If you're trying to stay in the middle grade of coilovers, they're a way more expensive one than this one, and even D2 offers more expensive one than this one. But these are just perfect for what I want, which is a street track car. I want best of both worlds on this car, and this definitely allows me to have that. I found this in the Facebook market at a very, very good price. So D2 has these for $977 if you want to buy them new. I recommend them 100%. Get these. If you want to find them on Facebook Market, also try to find them on Facebook Market. Like, as you can see, these look brand new. I cheated a little bit. I had to clean them, get the rust off. So I'll show you here. They were super rusty a little bit. They were dirty. So I definitely got them super clean and ready for installation. So that way it looks good under the wheel well with everything else that's new. So this is like going to be like the first used part that I put on this car. I basically gave it a little test and everything looks pretty much great. I'll tell you a little about what this coilover has. It has the 36-way adjustable for dampening. It has adjustability for the preload with the springs. And it also has adjustability for the ride height of the car. So this is what a coilover basically does. Any coilover, or not any, but like the majority of coilovers in this price range basically does this kind of feature, or has this kind of feature. The Civic 8th Gen comes with what's called a divorce setup, which you have your conventional type of dampening together with the spring type of, or strut together with the spring, and the for the front, and the rear has the dampening or the strut separated from the spring. Basically they sit like about, so an example like this, together with the controls of the height. This is like the height control, to control your height, together with this to control your height. So that's basically what's called a divorce setup. So with that being said, we're gonna start with the front driver side, and we're gonna get that installed. So I'll see you in the driver side wheel well. So a different angle, and don't worry, we're not gonna be working on the engine just yet. We're still in the suspension segment. But in order to get the front strut from the driver's side removed from the vehicle, we first have to remove this engine cover piece here. We have to remove part of the front cowling, and we also have to remove the wiper. You could get an easy access to these strut mount bolts from this cover piece here and from the top of the cowling. But if you want a comfortable access, it's better to remove everything. I'm going to be removing everything because that's something that I'm going to do later on anyways. So let's just get it done now. Let's start with removing this engine piece cover here. First, I'm going to grab a trim tool to lift up these pieces here. Okay, that's one. And that's two. So if you have this trim removal tool here, you won't break the plastic pieces. Okay, so that comes off easy. There's the plastic piece for the engine bay. And now we're gonna lower down this hood so that way we can remove the wiper. To remove the wiper, you're just gonna lift up a plastic piece that exposes the 17 millimeter nut that's there. And it should be easy to remove. Sometimes it's like on there. Let's see. There we go. That was it. Before I remove the wiper completely, I'm just gonna align this painter's tape where the wiper is currently, so that way I can align it right back when I put the wiper. Okay, so the wiper is gonna be there when I align it back. All right. So let's remove this wiper. There we go. And now we're going to raise the hood, and I'm going to show you a little trick on here. A lot of Hondas have the first latch holder to basically service the bay from the front, but if you want more clearance, there is a better service latch holder, I believe that's what it's called, and it raises the hood completely up so that way you have more space. Okay, so we're gonna get this cowling removed here. Just gonna pop it out of place here. There we go. And it removed everything. Wow. So I guess this wasn't on properly. Somebody has been here before and didn't use the clips or broke the clips for this cowling. we'll continue. We'll address that later. Like I said, I was going to move this cowling anyways to get more work done. Now it is off, and it'll be easier for me to get that work done later on throughout the series. Let's remove this part here. And it's completely off there. Just going to grab a little bit of compressed air and clean this out here. So we have that cleaned out now, and I'm going to show you right quick close up of the 3 bolts that we need to remove. Those are 14 millimeter nuts that are holding the strut mount to the chassis of the vehicle. Let's get that removed now. I already have our adapters ready. I also sprayed it with PB Blaster earlier today, so that way they're a little loose to remove. Let's see. Woo! Sometimes they're on there and they're not supposed to be this tight because the torque pounds for this, it's not supposed to be like that. Wow. Okay, that one is definitely on there. Let's check this one. Also on there. You know what? Let's bring the breaker bar. I don't feel like getting the proper socket for it because the breaker bar is a 3/8. We just bring the cheater bar here. And you don't need this usually for your strut mount bolts. This was overly tight in. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. So we'll leave that. So we're going to leave the nuts fastened a little bit so it's holding the strut mount and the strut to the chassis of the vehicle still, because we have to remove it from the bottom side first in order to get a good clearance to remove the whole suspension strut and coil out in one piece. So we'll leave that there so that way it's holding on, and we'll go to the bottom of the wheel well and start from there. So I'm going to get you on a different angle, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to be working on down in the wheel well. So back under the driver front side to remove the strut and coil that's on there. First, what we want to do is that we want to remove the brake cable. It's a 12 millimeter bolt, and then you want to hit the 17 millimeter bolts with the opposite being a 19 millimeter for the strut. And then you want to make sure that you remove the wheel speed sensor from the strut. It's just a clip. It comes off pretty easy. I'm going to show you the process and the tools that we're going to use for that. So I have here the 17 impact socket with my impact gun, which we're going to use on one end of the strut. And then we're going to hold it with this 19 millimeter closed-ended wrench on the other end so it doesn't spin. And that should remove that bolt out. But first, let's get the 12 millimeter brake line off here, the bolt. Okay, that piece is off there. And we can move it out of the way so it doesn't get damaged while removing the strut. Let's remove the wheel speed sensor. Like I said, it's just a clip. There we go. So the wheel speed sensor is removed, and now we can get to removing the struts. So again, I'm just going to put the 17 millimeter on the impact gun here. Grab the 19 millimeter to hold the other side of the bolt and remove it. Okay, and that came out. bolt is stuck to the both close end wrench here, and it comes off easy. We have the bottom one. We have to do the same thing to it too. I'm gonna hold it there and hit it. Same thing. Came off pretty easy due to the PB blaster that was added on there earlier. And we're just gonna grab the rubber mallet and hit it out. All right. Yeah. Sometimes you want to pretty much move it around a little bit so that way it could come out. Let's see, it comes out easy now. It doesn't want to come out. That's okay. Sometimes you need to lift up the suspension just a little bit to get the bolt out. Just make sure you have it in a spot that's not going to ruin the rest of the suspension or the brake rotors or anything there. Just going to put it right there. Okay, let's see what comes out. All right, so we got it out there. Took a little while, but that is free. So now we just want to make sure that we break spindle out here. Let's see, it's a little stuck there. Should come out easy. Let me hit it with the mallet here. All right. Woo, that took a while. So the bottom part of the strut got stuck, but that took a while to remove. But we got it out. Let me just turn this around here and get this away from the strut. There we go. So now we're gonna go back to the top of the vehicle while holding the full strut. We're gonna remove the 3 bolts that are just holding it in place right now. So let's get that done. We grab the tool that we need for that. All right. So suspension, strut, and spring completely removed out. Let's get this jack out the way here.